107 fouls isn't a whole season stat. It's Argentina's total fouls in this tournament, with a historic 14 yellow cards. They also topped the most carded list. On final night, with 25 total fouls, they lost 1-0 to Spain. Post-game, Paredes choked Garcia and tackled Gavi. He was then handed a red card. The team boycotted the post-game mixed zone. Reporters waited bitterly for 2 whole hours. During the ceremony, they turned their backs. This morning, Dirty Argentina trended #1. Seeing this, many people's first reaction was, they lost control and became sore losers. They showed absolutely no sportsmanship at all. But today, I offer a different angle. This wasn't a meltdown by the players. It was likely a calculated tactical choice. I just reached an ugly dead end. Let's first talk about the on-field fouls. Game theory has a concept called Brinkmanship. The US and Soviets used this strategy during the Cold War for nuclear deterrence. I push the situation to the edge, but I don't jump off the cliff. I force you to make the call. Do you back down, or do we both fall off the cliff together? Argentina's fouls follow this exact strategic logic. Think about Spain's extreme tiki-taka passing style. Their passing accuracy easily hits 90%. The ball just keeps moving rapidly around. You can't touch it with normal tackles. When traditional defense fails, what do? You have to destroy their playing rhythm. High-frequency fouls chop the game into pieces. You aren't really playing football anymore today. You turn a fluid passing chess game into a fragmented physical street brawl. And that physical brawl is Argentina's territory. Meanwhile, this tactic heavily pressures the referee. With 25 fouls, if the ref whistles, the game becomes completely unwatchable for fans. Fans will curse the referee's sheer incompetence. If they don't whistle, they silently approve. Playing dirty then becomes a legal tactic. You force the referee into a dilemma. It is exactly like nuclear deterrence theory. I am not trying to destroy everything. I'm forcing you to make the choice. So, playing dirty is highly tactically effective. It successfully disrupted Spain's natural game flow, and they only lost by 1 goal. Without Paredes' impulsive act at the end, this was almost a successful Brinkmanship strategy. But here's the problem with Brinkmanship. It has a very fatal strategic flaw. It only works as a one-off game. Playing chess once with a total stranger, you can cheat to test the rules, and you just walk away forever afterward. But football isn't just one chess game. It is a long and grueling season. It is decades of repeated intense games. In repeated games, every time you test the boundaries, you reshape your own reputation. Reputation is not just a mere label. It changes how others play against you. Take a simple real-life example for context. You are late for work one morning. The first time, the boss assumes traffic. The second time, they start to notice. The third time, their attitude shifts completely. They no longer assume you'll be on time. They start watching you very, very closely. Every small chat at your office desk is now closely monitored by your boss. Everything you do is viewed strictly through an unreliable employee filter from now on. Once Argentina's dirty label is firmly established, the referee's tolerance threshold drops very significantly. What does this mean for the team? Before, normal physical contact wasn't called fouls. Now, the referee instinctively starts to think, it's Argentina committing a dirty foul again. What was once tolerated is now penalized. What was a yellow now becomes red. Paredes' post-game red card is the proof. For the exact same type of chokehold, a player without a known dirty label might not get any extra punishment at all. But Paredes currently has that dirty label. His every move is under a microscope. You think you're testing the game's boundaries, but the boundaries are actually testing you. This is game theory's absolute cruelest cut. Reputation isn't just about having good morals. It is a core part of your payoff. Your reputation is a card in hand. Keep playing your dirty cards every match, and eventually, it's not the referee punishing you. You've simply ruined your own hand entirely. Now, let's look at the off-field actions. Argentina's team boycotted the post-game interviews completely. Reporters waited 2 hours, entirely in vain. They turned their backs during the ceremony. Most people call this being sore losers, but game theory calls it something else. It is simply quitting the game entirely. What does that mean in this context? When you've completely lost a competitive game, and the chance of winning is gone, you have one final, desperate option left. Deny the legitimacy of the game entirely. I can't win, but I can refuse to admit this match was ever fair. This is the week's final petty revenge. You took away my chance to win. I'll ruin your glorious moment of victory. Think about turning backs to the podium. It targets the award ceremony itself, entirely. The subtext is, I reject this result. I reject this ceremony's core validity completely. I devalue your victory by walking away. Is it totally ruthless? Yes, it is. But it is a double-edged sword entirely. Refusing interviews costs you your only defense. You think you're making a strong protest. The public thinks you're just acting guilty. Turning your back loses you all respect. Some might have thought you were outplayed. Now everyone just sees a sore loser. The price of quitting the game is you have opted out of it entirely. But the game doesn't just stop running. It will continue to define your legacy, completely without your input or your voice. By now, you might think Argentina deserved it. They chose dirty tactics as a strategy. Their reputation took a very massive hit. They showed zero class after the match. One mistake simply led to another mistake. But let me ask a harsher question. If the rules allow brinkmanship to exist, is playing dirty the team's only fault? Or is it the system's structural fault? Think about 107 fouls and 14 yellows. No match was stopped for excessive fouling. The rules gave dirty play a loophole. Cards are penalties, but not harsh enough to make teams abandon this dirty strategy. What does this mean for the sport? The rules actually encourage taking this risk. Imagine an exam where cheating costs points, but cheating successfully gains you 30 points. Are the cheaters morally corrupt by nature? Or is the punishment system itself flawed? Football is fundamentally a repeated long game. You always play more than one match. Argentina leaves with more than lost glory. How they lost will be remembered longer than the actual loss itself over time. Those 107 fouls and 14 yellow cards are reshaping how the world sees them. They will pay this heavy reputation debt for many long years yet to come. But if the structural system doesn't change, teams will do this again next tournament. Because when dirty tactics bring high rewards, anyone doing the math will push boundaries. So, I leave you with this question. When a system makes dirty play rational, do we blame those who play dirty? Or the rules that allow it openly? I don't have a perfect answer today. But game theory teaches us this truth. Good rules don't make bad people good. They make doing bad things totally unprofitable. See you next time on the channel.